Hey guys, welcome back to the studio. If you're new here, my name is Leah, and today we're making vision boards. Now, if you've been here for a while, you know I've done a couple of these, and that's why I wanted to make this one a little bit different. This one we're going to be focusing on, for sure, our artist goals, but I really wanted to put in place some of my strategies in ways that I make goals and are able to actually achieve them. I feel like a lot of artists make goals for themselves at the beginning of the year, and then they're fully forgotten. And so I do believe that a vision board is a great thing to keep around your desk, so you're always looking at it and always thinking about it. Honestly, it's always very eerie looking back at my other vision boards because honestly, everything on them came to life if the images that I was picking actually represented the thing that I wanted to do very well. And so I definitely want to take you into the way that I've done it in the past, and also show you just the process through and talk about some of my goals. There's a couple on my list that I think that maybe you guys could even help me with, so let's jump into it. So when doing this, I first start with having some sort of paper that I can write on. This can be in a journal or just on some blank lined paper, whatever feels right for you. Then I like to have a cardstock or something that's at least 11 by 14 inches. I think having a larger space to put things on will help you in making your piece stand out, and it's also better for it to be bigger so that you always are able to look at it. I then encourage you to grab some things around your house like magazines. You could order a vision book. I've just gotten one, so we're going to be using that today. You'll probably want scissors, some sort of glue. I feel like washi tape could look really good here. And then bringing in any other craft elements that you're interested in. For example, I'm going to be using the Lian PixCut S1 photo sticker printer, just so that I can make personalized stickers, which I think would help with visualizing and making my board come to life. So let's start with the tips that I would highly recommend you follow. I think something people get wrong with the vision board too is they make it about their achievements and accomplishments. Instead of making these goals outcome-based, I want them to be action-based. By doing these actions, you're going to get to your goals a lot faster, and it's not going to feel like you failed them by the end of the year. This board is not about predicting the future or wishing it. It's about choosing the life that you actually want to have and making actionable goals towards those things and remembering them throughout the year. That said, I will say there's a little magic to some of them. Like, for example, one of the years I had a spot with a background space that I wanted to fill, so I randomly grabbed this butterfly with this background that kind of had this wood paneling that definitely didn't look like something I'd ever seen. And then that summer, my friend was like, hey, we should go to Thailand, and I ended up going, and it was this serendipitous moment where we were there, and we were in this place that literally had the paneling, and then one of those butterflies came by, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was on my vision board. That was crazy, you know? So I feel like there is some magic to it for sure, but I just want to make sure that you're setting goals that you actually want to follow. And let me preface as well, if you only do art for fun, that is 100% fine. That is what most people do. But I do think that even at that level, you should have some sort of goal for yourself. It could be something very simple, like paint every Saturday morning for the whole year, you know? That would help you so much in your practice. You would learn so many skills, and it means that you would dedicate the time for it. So that's a perfect example. I also love the idea that if you have goals, you can write them out in an actionable way. So this is what I always do. I say, I will action this many times. So pick a number, week, month, year, because identity, and then you put something that is important to you. So for example, I will paint 2 times a week because I want to be a better painter, for example. And I think that that is something that it creates this image. So if you're struggling to figure out how to visualize your notes, this is a great way to do it because it's this should have an action of someone painting, for example, if that was your thing. Or something like, I will attend artist meetups once a month because I want to expose myself to more artists and learn from others. Something like that. It's way more easy. And then you can picture what that because is, and that's an identity piece, right? So for example, that would be a crowd of other artistic looking people or something and putting yourself in it. You could even draw yourself in or print a picture of yourself. And if you have a sticker printer, you could just stick yourself onto it and be like, okay, I was there, you know? So I think that we need to take it back a step sometimes and think about what we actually want the outcome to be and what that action is. And then the byproduct of it is these accomplishments versus the accomplishments being our goal, if that makes sense. I feel like a lot of the time we get it backwards, and I'm 100% guilty for this as well. I also like the idea of making a vision board is more of like a storyboard for your life. So you could have a lot of miniature scenes if you're interested in something like that. You could draw it. I don't think it always needs to be paper. You could have like a little scene of what you want your mornings to look like, maybe what you want your desk space to look like, or your creative space. Maybe there's somewhere you'd like to travel to this year, so maybe you can find a photo from there. Maybe you want to meet more artists, and so you could make a photo of you like making art with other people. I think that these are all things that are way more actionable, and seeing like, oh yeah, I wanted to do that thing is kind of like it visualizes it's in your mind. How can I look for opportunities like that? I also love the idea of doing a vision board with data within it. You could have like a time investment pie, for example, showing all the things that you want to have as your investment times. You could have a little grid showing like month to month on how you want to feel. There's so many things that I feel like you could do with charts that I've never seen in graphs. And I think it's kind of a funny thing for us artists to kind of take on that side of things. Now that you've got your mind thinking about this, I want you to grab some papers and just take some time and write down everything that you maybe are thinking about doing as a goal. This can be so loose. You could never see some of these again, right? So we just want to make sure that we can pick some that are actionable and just kind of like, don't limit yourself right now. It could be like crazy things, like travel to 20 countries and then list them all out. But maybe by doing that, you're going to look at them and be like, maybe I don't want that. But make sure you write it down first before you retract it. So I have my book here. I just wrote like 3 pages of bullet notes, and I'm thinking that there's a lot of common themes. So this is something that I do sometimes if I'm seeing common themes, is I try to bubble them basically. So if you're seeing a lot of themes about technique, for example, then I like to put those all into a technique bubble, and then that will be like something you want to visually represent in your artboard. I have my morning pages notebook, so I write every single morning 3 longhand pages, which honestly takes a while, but I've realized by doing it, I'm able to like understand myself better and know that like what I actually want to do this year. So obviously, if you've been watching my channel, I did the Artist Way this year, and it's unlocked a new part of me, well, re-unlocked something that was deep inside me, and that was that I am a multidisciplinary artist. I love collage, obviously, but I've realized that there's so many ways to make collage, it doesn't have to just be papers. And so I've decided to make my number one goal is called rediscovery. And so I definitely want to have that like in big words on the page. I kind of said like bring back old parts of me that I was in love with and forgot about. So the idea is like bringing back pieces of me. And I'm definitely feeling that through writing. Like I used to love writing, and doing it, I feel like I'm just like remembering a lot of things. I got my new camera so that I could actually feel like I could go out and take photos, because my other camera is like 4 pounds, and it was like just like it's too big to bring around with me. So this one's like nice and compact. I talk about also trying to do my first professional photo shoot. So doing a product photo shoot, for example, or getting like a model and doing like a full set design, something really cool like that. I think is just doing one for the year, like with another model and stuff, would be amazing. So I'm going to work towards that. And I kind of see that, there's other things with photography, learning certain skills. So I'm going to put that as a photography bubble is one of mine. And then I've been painting a lot. I've just been like obsessively painting. And so it's kind of interesting to bring back all of these things that I once loved and doing them again. My next one that I definitely is the word and theme of next year is curiosity. The idea is to learn and try new things and always stay experimenting is what I wrote here. And I fully agree with that. I think rediscovery is like more about internal and curiosity is more external. They're kind of, 2 sides of the coin. So I think reading new things, and I talk a lot about like art philosophies and reading about like artists and their manifestos, I think would be really interesting for this year. So those are all going to get bunched in. I think I could have some books and try to like get some of the names, for example, and maybe I can even make like my own little like book stack and have some of those names that I can think about like reading them. One thing that maybe you guys can help me with, if you know any publishers, is that I really want to get into book cover designs. I think that this is something that I've wanted for years. So I was just thinking like I could start with making like some of my favorite books into like my own book covers and kind of just having a little portfolio of those first. But I'm really excited about that idea. The next one is kind of organization. And I think for me, obviously you guys have noticed that I'm doing a video every other week, and that has given me like a week where I can really just like hunker down and figure out what I want to do. And it's been honestly life-changing for me for right now. I talk about trying to find maybe a video editor to edit my videos so that I can focus on creating more. So I think I could look for like a film student that's looking for some experience. So if you guys know anyone, please let me know. And so I'm thinking this year I'm gonna actually have like a full timetable of like what I'm doing. The idea is just like actually putting time into my schedule for the things I actually want to do. And my last big kind of column, I'll call it, is the focusing on joy and not income. Now, obviously your girl still got to eat, but the concept is that whenever I do something and it, doesn't go as well, I'm like so hard on myself, versus if it's about joy and giving back to people, I think that I would be a lot better off. And so the idea is just kind of focusing on like how many people did I impact? Like I get all these beautiful emails and DMs and messages from all over and meeting people in person. Those are the things that I think that should be my metric, is like how many people am I impacting? How can I help people? And how can I make beautiful work that impacts society? Like those are the things that I think I need to take my focus on versus the income, because I feel like when that happens, both just happen at the same time. Like success obviously grows in both ways. And I think by putting myself down versus being like happy that I did it is something that will be largely impactful and positive on my career. So I feel like I found some really good images that work for what I wanted for the board. I feel like I'm definitely missing some, but that's okay. That's where the sticker printer comes in. So I think that I'll use these and put them to the side. I also found a couple things that obviously I wasn't looking for. I like the idea of my own boss, just because obviously I am being my own boss right now, and that's something that I never want to have change. So I want to definitely keep that in my mind all year long. Next, we're going to fire up the sticker printer so I can make some custom stickers and phrases that relate back to my goals. I definitely wanted to have some custom elements, so having a sticker printer that can do this for me is great. Leanne kindly gifted me this, and it was just the perfect moment when I was looking at it myself. So this is the Leanne PixCut S1 model. I've linked it below in case you're interested in getting it for yourself. You can make custom die cut stickers either with your own designs or designs that they've made in their library. After designing my sticker sheet, I hit remove background, and without fail, it's able to detect and cut out all around the elements of the sticker sheet. I was pretty impressed. It then prints, laminates, and cuts out your stickers. This is a great little machine, and you guys should definitely check it out. The default paper it comes with is definitely more for sticking to paper, like a scrapbook or a junk journal, but they've kindly also sent me this new sticker paper that is supposed to be more sticky, water resistant, and a closer quality to the stickers that I sell on my website. You can see like how good the cutting is. I'm really impressed around the edges, like how precise it is, honestly, and how it does it automatically. I literally didn't have to change anything. Love that. Okay, now that we have everything, I'm just gonna lay them all out so that I have everything I want to use. And then I'm just gonna put this paper next to it all and just pick through some things, and then we'll find some backgrounds quick. So when mood boarding, I'm always looking very carefully. So I have this little piece that I'm just tucking in, but I want to make sure that the part that shows is the part that says make a difference. Okay, so there's my background. I actually really like the background. I might scan it quick just to have it. Okay, now I'm just gonna try to like place things on top of it. I'm happy for them to like go over the edges, whatever needs to happen for this to look good. To save some space, I just cut this one down a little at the top, and I'm gonna put this like over top of it. Since that space isn't really necessary, that just gives me a little bit more space. I also want to add like some more pretty elements so it's not just like boxy. So I'm gonna take like pieces of paper like this and overlap them just so it feels like more interesting. Definitely got some space. I also wanted to add some good luck, so I put the lucky cats, which I love. I've always been like a super fan of them. And then I have the stars to think about like wishing. And these ones are just for fun, the little loops. I've been using them on my artwork and graphics that I make, so I just wanted to include them here because I feel like they're part of my brand. And then I just decided just to add a little something something. I have this leftover gold. I'm just gonna put it like around to give it some depth and layer, and I like the way the light shines on it. Okay, I'm really excited to say, but I think that we're done here, and it's kind of incredible because there's so much stuff, but I feel like I was worried that I wouldn't be able to get it all on the board, but I literally got all the elements that I was looking to put on it. And I think that, you know, you can see the goals that we were talking about throughout creating in this piece, and hopefully it's like a good recommendation and reminder for me constantly throughout the year to achieve the goals that I want to achieve. And also, like, you know, it's very fun and playful, and I'm liking what it looks like. Before I put this on the wall, there's actually one more thing I want to do, and that's to flip it over, and I'm going to write down all of the goals on the back just so I have a reminder and a place for them. So thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that you have a beautiful vision boarding session and you're able to figure out your goals. I know that it can be so hard as artists, even people that don't want to make it into income, to actually like stick to goals, and so I hope that this helps you throughout the year. If you've done one before, I would love to hear if it actually all came true and which parts didn't, and if you felt like there was a reason for that. I'm always very curious about this because visualizing goals can be such an interesting way of putting them into perspective, and looking at it every single day can have an impact on your brains. So it's kind of a good message to think about, like, look around your surroundings, and are they inspiring you? Are there things that you don't like to look at that are in your surroundings? But your space can be so impactful, and so think about what you have around your room and what things you could put in place to make sure you hit those goals. Anyways, I hope you guys do amazing with this. I can't wait to see them. If you'd love to send them to me, I would love to see. If you haven't already, I'll give you the nudge to check out flanzella.com, where you can buy collage kits, art prints, originals, stickers, cards, and now collage classes. I'd love to have you in my class, and I really hope to see you. And I hope you have a fun time making a vision board. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.